What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another New Comics This Week previews episode. In today's video, I'm going over all the new releases for June 28th, 2023's New Comic Book Day. Now, as always, I'm going to be going over all the new releases from the major publishers and a ton of the indie companies as well, which books I'm going to be getting, those new releases, variant covers, and if there's any sort of other important info about those books, I'm going to be covering that too. And I always got to bring it up, but there's still delays and shipment issues happening amongst these different publishers, so once it gets closer to New Comic Book Day, just check with your LCS to see which ones are actually going to be getting in. Now, without further ado, let's talk some comics. And now, super quick, everyone, if you are new to these videos, down below in the description, I got a chapter list of all the different publishers I'm going to be talking about today, so feel free to jump around it. Now, I know I just casually brought it up, but I feel like when I was doing the notes for this video, there were a ton of books for these smaller indie publishers that I recently have gone over for the last couple of weeks, so take that for what it is. Some of these issues are going to be repeats, and there were a couple publishers that had a ton of books coming out this week, but they were listed like issues 3, 4, and 5, so I opted not to cover them at all. So, like I said earlier, once it gets closer to New Comic Book Day, just check with your LCS to see which ones are actually getting in. So the first publisher I'm going over today is Dark Horse, and the first one is the series finale for Blue Book. This is issue number 5. I feel like this series is just okay. I had a lot higher expectations for it. I don't know, I love James Tynion, I love aliens and conspiracies, monsters, and all that crap, but I don't know, this series just isn't doing it for me. If you guys are enjoying it, let me know what you think about it down below. Here's cover A. This is the cover B, Chartier variant. And now finally, we've got a 1 in 10 Shimizu incentive variant. Next up, we got Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, issue number 6. Then we've got Hellboy and the BPRD 1957, Fearful Symmetry, issue number 1. Followed up with that, we got a brand new one from them. It's The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue number 1. It's got 9 different covers. If you are new to these videos, I usually only go over cover A and a couple of the other covers. Be sure to check out the other ones online. Here's cover A. This is the cover B foil variant, and now finally we got a cover C Robles variant. Moving on, we got Masquerade, issue number 6. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B variant. Moving on to Space Job, issue number 4, and now finally from them we got a brand new one. It's Savage Squad 6, issue number 1, and it's only got a cover A. Next up, we got IDW, and the first one's TMNT, The Last Ronin Lost Years, issue number 4. This series is fantastic so far. I love the first Last Ronin volume. Definitely check this one out too. It's got 11 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Eastman and Bishop variant. And now finally we got a Bishop Net exclusive. Moving on, we got some more TMNT for you fans. We got a couple TMNT issues this week. This one's TMNT Usagi Ojimbo Where When, issue number 4. It's got 8 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Eastman variant. And now finally an Alan Qua exclusive. Moving on to more TMNT, we got TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures Continued, issue number 2. It's got 5 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Shoning variant, and now finally cover C Dutrex variant. Next up today is Dungeons & Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures, issue number 4. This is cover A, the main cover. Followed up with that, we got a cover B Hickey variant, and now finally a 1 in 10 Tim Levins incentive variant. Next up on my list is Dark Spaces Good Deeds, issue number 2. It's got 6 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Beals variant, and now finally cover C Row variant. Moving on to a brand new one, we got Bryn Mawr, issue number 1. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B Frank Cavilla variant, and now finally from them, we got a brand new one. It's My Little Pony, Brindle Woodstock, issue number 1. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Scruggs variant, and now finally a 1 in 10 Balderi incentive variant. Next publisher today is Dynamite. The first one is Gargoyles, issue number 7. It's got a whopping 26 different variants for you folks. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Connor variant, and now finally cover C Perillo variant. Moving on to Darkwing Duck, issue number 6. It's got 16 different covers, and this is cover A, the main. Here's cover B, the Andolfo variant, and now finally cover C, Edgar variant. After that is 007 for King and Country, issue number 3. It's got 10 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Puebla variant, and now finally cover C, Bill variant. Moving on to Elvira and Monsterland, issue number 2. It's got 10 different covers, and this is cover A, the main. Here's cover B, the Royal variant, and now finally cover C, Beale variant. This is the last one coming out from them this week. It's Vampirella versus Superpowers, issue number 2, and it's got 18 different covers. Here's cover A. This is cover B Lyrics variant, and now we got a cover C Yoon variant. I'm sorry for laughing, but I'll tell you what, that's a ton of covers coming out from some of these books. Next up, we got Titan Comics. The first one is Heat Seeker Gun Honey series, issue number 1. So we got a brand new volume from the Gun Honey run. It's got 16 different covers too. I'll tell you what, man, some of these books, they got so many covers coming out. It's crazy to me. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Sienkiewicz variant, and now finally cover C Cosplay variant. I know I make jokes about all these covers. I think the one thing that's really cool about comic books is that there's something for everybody. Whether you want to read these, you want to invest in them, you want to get them because they got some really sweet artwork, artwork. There's something for everybody, and I totally understand why they have all these covers. But to me, as someone who just pretty much gets cover A, seeing all these different variants, it's always crazy to me. Next up, we got a brand new one again from them. We've got Scarlet Couture, the Munich File, issue number 1. It's got 7 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B variant, and now finally cover C Lashley variant. Now finally from them, this one I know I've talked about quite a few times now. It's Nouns, Nountown, issue number 1, so another new one. But like I said, I've probably talked about this one 3 or 4 times now in these videos. Here's cover A, and now we got an FOC variant. Moving on to Black Mass Studios, the first one's a new one. We got Destiny New York, Mythic Mafia, issue number 1. That's another one I've mentioned quite a few times. It's got 6 different variants. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Ramboli variant, and now finally cover C Lyrics Gallery variant. Finally from them, we got a new one. It's Leaded Gasoline, issue number 1. Next publisher today is Sumerian, and I've talked about all 3 of these quite a few times, so I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. First one's Pop Scars, issue number 4. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Savage variant, and now finally cover C Slominski variant. Then we have Feeder, issue number 2, and then finally Soko, issue number 3. This is cover A. Here's the 1 in 5 Tomaselli variant, and now finally a Fuso connecting variant. Next up is Zenoscope, and they've got Grim Fairy Tales, issue number 73, and it's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. We've got a cover B Talabao variant, and now finally cover C Pulot variant. Next up is Archie Comics, and they've got one that features 2 brand new stories. It's Betty and Veronica, Jumbo Comics Digest, issue number 315. Moving on to Aftershock Comics, the first one's The Brother of All Men, number 3, and then finally from them, we got the 06 Protocol, issue number 3. Next up is Mad Cave Studios, and the first one is Tales from Nottingham, issue number 5. I remember from like 2, maybe 3 years ago, Nottingham was huge. Never had an opportunity to read it. Missed out on the first couple of issues, so to me, I was just waiting for a trade paperback to come out. I don't know if they ever did come out with one. I know obviously I can just look it up, but if you read Nottingham, you've kept up with Tales from Nottingham, and you really like it or you love it, let me know what you think about it down below. Then the only other one they've got this week is Exorcists Never Die, issue number 3. Moving on to Bad Idea Comics, they've got They're All Terrible, issue number 3, and then moving on to Whatnot Publishing. The first one is a brand new one-shot. It's Ninja Funk one-shot, Bolo's Playground, issue number 1, and it's only got a cover A, which is crazy to me because Whatnot usually has a lot of covers. I didn't like Ninja Funk at all. I know that's like Whatnot's hyped up series. That's their child. They hyped that one up at all times. I thought Ninja Funk was terrible. That's just my opinion, though. I know some other people probably really like it, but I'm not one of those people. Then we've got The Exiled, issue number 5, and it's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B, a Skivo variant, and then finally, we got a cover C, Kent They Live homage variant. Next up is Frank Miller Presents, and the first one's a brand new special. We got Svengoolie Lost in Time, issue number 1. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B, Row variant, and then finally, we got another new one. It's Ancient Enemies, The Greater Good, issue number 1. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B, Dead Racer Girls variant. Moving on to Red 5, they've got Fallen, issue number 4. Then we got Fantagraphics Books, and they've got Red Room, Crypto Killers, issue number 2. It's got 4 different covers. I'm a big fan of Red Room. I think the other volumes have been great. It's black and white. It's extremely graphic, very mature. So if that's not really your thing, it's kind of about torturing it. I know I'm probably weird for liking it, but there's a lot of you other weirders out there that really like it too. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 10 Rug homage incentive. Now finally a 1 in 15 Heron incentive variant. Then moving on, we got Ablaze. They've got Traveling to Mars, issue number 7. It's got 7 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B variant. And now finally, we got a cover C variant. Next up is Vault. And this is the last small indie publisher I'm going to be going over today. We got End After End, issue number 8. This is cover A. And now we got a cover B Kangas variant. Out of all of those, I'm definitely going to be grabbing Blue Book number 5. I mean, I got to ride it out, right? I got to see how it ends. Then I'm going to be getting TMNT Last Ronin Lost Years, issue number 4. And then finally, Red Room Crypto Killers, issue number 2. Next up, I'm going to be going over Image Comics. And the first one is World Tree, issue number 3. This one, folks, is off to a bomb-ass start. I highly recommend checking this one out. This series has been so good so far. James Tynion, it's kind of a tech horror series. I don't really know exactly how to describe it. It's a very weird one. I really like the artwork, and like I said, the story's off to a great start. It's got 12 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B, Martin variant, and now finally 125 Campbell incentive variant. Moving on, we got the end of the arc for Vanish. This is issue number 8. I've heard phenomenal things about this series. I only read the first issue. I did honestly really like, and the artwork was fantastic, but just haven't kept up with it. It's got 10 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B, Warren Johnson variant, and now finally cover C, Rosmo variant. Then after that, we got the Scorched, issue number 19. Here's cover A, the main cover, and then we got a cover B, Keen variant, and now finally we got a cover C, Keen Virgin variant. After that is Local Man, issue number 5. This is another one I've heard great things about, just haven't had the opportunity to read it. Here's cover A, and now finally, here's the cover B, Benitez and Reber variant. Moving on to Indigo Children, issue number 4. This series is fantastic. fantastic. The storytelling, the artwork, every time I finish one of these issues, I always feel like I get my money's worth. Next up, we got series finale. It's Hell to Pay, issue number 6. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B Slimy variant. Then we've got Deep Cuts number 3. After that's the Savage Strength of Starstorm, issue number 2. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B Craig and Wordy variant. And then finally from them, so I guess a little bit lighter of a week from Image, we got Summoner's War Awakening, issue number 3. Out of all those books, it looks like I'm only going to be getting World Tree number 2 and then Indigo Children number 4. Moving on to Boom Studios, they're having surprisingly a pretty big week. They usually have a little bit on the lighter side, but the first one's The Seasons Have Teeth, issue number 3. I love this series so far. I think it's such a unique concept, and I know there really hasn't been a lot that's been going on over the first 2 issues, but I just love what they're doing with it so far. The artwork is great as well. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're looking for a new series. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 25 for Amara incentive, and now finally an FOC reveal variant. Moving on to The Neighbors, issue number 4. I'll tell you what, I have shit on this series. I thought the first 2 issues were terrible. Decent concept. It's kind of like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but the rest of the plot that they kind of focus on the entire time, I guess I just don't really care about it. I want to know more about what's going on with all of the neighbors. Issue number 3 was kind of the exact same way, but I loved the cliffhanger that we got left on. So even though I told myself I was done with the series, I'm going to be picking up issue number 4. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Hutchinson variant, and now finally 1 in 15 Carry incentive variant. Next up, we got Dune House Harkonnen, issue number 6. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Murakami variant, and now finally 1 in 25 Infante incentive variant. Then we've got The Expanse Dragon Tooth, issue number 3, and it's got 4 different covers as well. Here's cover A. Then we've got a cover B Florentino variant, and now finally a 1 in 10 Yoon incentive variant. Next up, we got Power Rangers Unlimited, the Coinless, issue number 1. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Montez Foil variant, and now finally a 1 in 10 more incentive variant. This next one's the last one coming out from Boom Studios this week. Like I said, a little bit bigger of a week, but we got Creed, the next round, issue number 1. It's got 7 different covers for you Creed fans. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Landro variant, and now finally a 1 in 10 Allen incentive variant. Out of those issues, I'm for sure going to be getting The Seasons Have Teeth, issue number 3. Like I said, I highly recommend checking this one out. I think the first 2 issues, when I was still doing my reviews, top 10 lists, ranking lists, whatever, I'm pretty sure they were either in the top 3 or they were either S or A tier when I was ranking, reviewing them. I really do like that series. I recommend checking it out. Next up, we got DC. The first one's Detective Comics, issue number 1073, and it's got 7 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B, Kelly Jones variant, and now finally cover C, Mike Perkins variant. Then we've got Action Comics, issue number 1056, and this one's got 11 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B, Sandoval variant, and now finally Carla Cohen variant A, and be on the lookout for a Virgin variant B. Then after that, we've got Green Arrow, issue number 3. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A, the main. Then we have a cover B, Chew variant, and now finally cover C, DC Pride variant. Next one on my list this week, we've got Harley Quinn, issue number 31. It's got 10 different covers. This is cover A, the main. Then we've got a cover B, Frizen variant. Oh man, Jenny Frizen's artwork, her covers are killer. I love Jenny Frizen. The first time I really got into her covers was for Something Is Killing the Children. You guys already know how I feel about that series, but man, ever since then, I always look out for a Jenny Frizen cover. Now finally, we got a Clayton Crane variant A, and be on the lookout for a Virgin variant B, and man, I haven't seen Clayton Crane's name pop up in a while, so it's good to see him making some covers again. Then we've got the Riddler Year 1, issue number 5. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A, the main. Now we got a cover B, Subic variant, and now finally cover C, Redondo variant. After that is Batman, the Brave and the Bold, issue number 2, and it's got 4 different covers. This is cover A, the main. Then we've got a cover B, Chew variant, and now finally cover C, Booth variant. Moving on to Tim Drake Robin, issue number 10. This is cover A. Here's the cover B variant, and now finally cover C, more DC Pride variant. After that, we got City Boy, issue number 2. First issue was awesome. I recommend checking this one out too. Here's cover A. Then we've got a cover B in Hook Lee variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 Mike Choi incentive variant. Then after that, we got Fables, issue number 159. This is cover A, the main. And then finally, we got a cover B Buckingham variant. Moving on to Batman, The Adventures Continue, season 3, issue number 6. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is cover B Riley variant, and now finally cover C March variant. This next one's the last one coming out from DC this week, folks. We got DC Ruby, issue number 5. This is cover A, and now we got a cover B Andolfo variant. Out of all those issues, DC's having a decent week. Decent, DC, you saw what I was doing. All right, I'm going to be grabbing City Boy, issue number 2. I thought the first issue was awesome. I definitely recommend checking it out. Moving on, this is the last publisher today, folks. We got Marvel Comics. The first one is ASM, issue number 28. It's got 10 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the Ariel Diaz variant, and be on the lookout for a Virgin variant B. And now finally, 1 in 50 Copal incentive variant. Then we've got, this is the end of the arc for Thor, issue number 35. I am hoping that this end of the arc is the end of the artwork as well, because I'll tell you what, from what we started with Nick Klein and the story that we started with till now, I know Cates isn't on it anymore, and it is what it is, but the artwork, it's not a knock against his art. It's a knock that that's the art that was chosen to follow up Nick Klein on a very serious Thor series. It almost feels like it's a joke to me. I know it's just my opinion, but I think the artwork for this series is terrible. I'm not saying his art is terrible for a different series, but it doesn't go well with what Donny Cates and Nick Klein were doing, in my opinion. Here's cover A. Then we've got a Loraz Ultimate Last Look variant, and now finally a Warren Johnson variant. Moving on, we got She-Hulk issue number 14, and it says this one is the secret history of the scoundrel is being revealed. Here's cover A, and now we got a Chew variant and a Virgin cover. Next up is Ghost Rider issue number 15. I've heard phenomenal things about this series, but I stopped reading around issue number 6. I missed out on 7 at my shop, and I think I missed out on 8, and you know how that story goes. It's just, we're playing catch up at this point. I still only have the first 6 issues, but like I said, I heard it's great. I liked what I read from it. Here's cover A. This is the HOTS variant. Now finally, Cabal Ultimate Last Look variant. Moving on to Deadpool issue number 8. Here's cover A. Now we got a Lopez variant. I'm going to be real with you. I hyped up the Deadpool series in the very beginning. I thought the first couple of issues, I thought the first issue did a great job just kind of bringing us into this brand new Deadpool run. I thought Alyssa Wong did a really good job capturing Deadpool's personality. I liked all the action. I liked all the little zingers that he was spitting out. I thought it was very Deadpool-esque. I just liked what they were doing with it. As it went on, though, I mean, like I said, Deadpool issue number 8 is coming out. I feel like we haven't really progressed this series almost at all after the last 3, maybe 4, pushing 5 issues. It's kind of been a love story, and it's the same thing every single issue. And I'll tell you, if you haven't started the series, I feel like you probably shouldn't start. You should just wait for a trade paperback at this point and just kind of go from there, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be continuing on with this series. Next up, we got Star Wars Dr. Aphra, issue number 33. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the Marquez variant, and now finally Jimenez Pride variant. Then we have Captain America Symbol of Truth, issue number 14. This is cover A, and here's the Kamenkoli Ultimate Last Look variant. After that, a Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red, issue number 3. Here's cover A, the main. Here's the Carnero variant. And then finally, a 1 in 25 Klein incentive variant. Followed up with that, we got a new one. It's X-Men Before the Fall, Heralds of Apocalypse, issue number 1. Here's cover A. This is the U variant, and now finally a Villa Stormbreakers variant. Moving on to Silk number 2. This is cover A, the main. Here's the Jones variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 incentive variant. Moving on, we got Alien issue number 3. This is cover A, the main cover, folks. Here's the Walsh variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 Yoon incentive variant. Moving on to Daredevil and Echo issue number 2. I didn't read the first issue. I kind of was mocking / laughing at it. Like, who's asking for this stuff? I mean, I know they're coming off an Echo series from Disney Plus, and that's obviously why they're including Daredevil and Echo in a series to get everyone hyped up for the new Disney Plus series. But I heard the first issue was pretty good. Like I said, I didn't read it, but the people that I talked to that read it said it actually was a lot better than they were expecting. This is cover A. Here's the Mac variant, and now finally a Horley variant. Then we've got Carnage Reigns Omega issue number 1. It's got 4 different covers. I also heard the Carnage Reigns stuff's really good. It's surprised me too. Here's cover A. This is the Clark connecting, and now finally a 1 in 10 design incentive. Moving on to Predator issue number 4. This is cover A. Here's the Yoon variant, and now finally a Raza variant. After that, a Storm number 2. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the Kubert Ultimate Last Look variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 Wolf incentive variant. Moving on, we got Silver Surfer Ghostlight, issue number 5. Then we've got Avengers Beyond, issue number 4. And now finally, this is the last one coming out from Marvel this week, so they're definitely having a pretty big week. Not a lot of stuff that I'm getting, though. We got Warlock Rebirth, issue number 3. Here's cover A, and now we've got a Hawthorne variant. Out of all those issues, I'm only going to be grabbing Thor, issue number 35, and Deadpool, issue number 8. I'm telling you, folks, my Marvel pull list is just getting smaller and smaller as the weeks go on. My money's going into Image, Boom Studios, all these other killer indie publishers. I mean, hell, I've been reading a lot more DC too. But those are all the books coming out this week. We're having a huge new comic book day coming up. I want to hear your opinions on it, which books you're going to be getting, which ones you think I'm going to be missing out on. And thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to check out some more content, I got 2 more. It's going to be popping up to the side here momentarily. Thank you again, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.